example, I didn't even have to hear that man's words when he was driving by us. I could feel the energy coming off of him. We all can feel that.
Right.
Or we can also feel when somebody's being kind and loving and it's coming from that genuine place. Yes. We can feel it.
What a gift.
What a gift. We love being around that person because they bring out the best in us. So what happens is we're an expert at feeling this. We can feel this in a split second with people. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to feel that. So what happens is we know what it feels like, what energy feels like. So when we're a child and you're looking at a child and they're buoyant with joy and they're buoyant with being honest and truthful, we all started out that way. So our energy field is bright and beautiful. And to say to you that you have an energy field, I'm not talking woo-woo-y, because the good thing about today's world is we actually have, the science community has instruments that can measure the frequency on someone, which is really cool, because then I don't sound like I'm making a crazy statement. And I don't have to understand it. I just have to know that it's there.
It's justified.
Exactly. And because I can feel somebody else, if somebody's heavy, you can feel that.
Yeah.
If somebody's buoyant, you can feel that. That's what's in their energy field. It's energy. So we start out perfect. We're bright and shining, and we're here to do a mission that only I can do. No one else can do it. It's only for me. That's what's wonderful about every person on the planet. They're so necessary. It's the greatest gift we have to have every person that's here. But we live on a planet that it's really difficult to be around. It's hard to live on this planet because of what we've been talking about on the show and what Marshall's talking about. All this heavy energy, whether you call it hurtful or painful or upsetting, or it doesn't even matter what you call it. We call it heavy energy because when I say it's heavy, you know what that feels like when somebody's like that man. Even though I didn't hear his words when we were driving and he was like, "You didn't wait your turn." I could feel what he was putting out.
Exactly. It could be challenging, but we're beyond that.
Yeah, exactly. But that heavy energy is very much like a knife. So if I don't have any affinity to what he's saying, even though it's heavy and it's like a knife, it'll just slip right past me. That's what we want to have happen. But let's go back to being a child. Sooner or later, someone is going, or a situation is going to happen that heavy energy is actually going to hit you. Maybe your mom yelled at you for whatever, or your dad, or a teacher, or a schoolmate said something that was hurtful. Doesn't matter. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. Doesn't matter who you are, it happens, because this is a planet we live on. So you're that child that everything is going really, really well, and that energy that got directed towards you hits your luminous field, your energy field, and cuts it literally like a knife. So, like if I took a knife and I ran it across my hand, ouch, it would hurt and it would leave a cut. I'm getting a painful feeling because it actually left a cut. So the stuff that we've gone through that's painful or hurtful or whatever you want to call it, once that damage is there, the cut is your emotional response to that situation. So if somebody has hurt me and I'm feeling that pain of hurt, the next time somebody comes along and directs that same type of energy towards me, I'm going to experience it all over again. Just like that got recut open.
Which now they define as post-traumatic stress syndrome or what have you.
Exactly, or what have you. So the whole world right now is in one big pain. That's what's really clear. I've not seen a country or, there's no one's exempt on this planet right now. It's in a lot of pain. There's just people like Eckhart Tolle or Marshall that have been able to rise above it. And that's what I want to help people to do. I want to help them end that suffering. So what happens is once that cut is there and the heavy energy that caused it is sitting there, the laws of attraction, like attracts like. So our energy field, because it's energy, is radiating out into the world. And sooner or later, we pull back that same thing that we've put out. If you read the book Think and Grow Rich, that's what his whole book, that's why it's the thinking part. If you're constantly putting out, I can do this, I can believe I can do this, and he's got a step-by-step on how you do it, even if your thoughts are, I don't believe this, he's helping you to retrain that. So you're putting out, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And he said it's almost magical because it's like the universe will bend over backwards to give back to you in physical manifestation what you're putting out. So all of your energy field with what you came here to do and who you really are is radiating out like a child. That never goes away because that's the real you. But once that cut is there and this heavy energy is there and this doesn't just disappears like magic, this has damaged your program that tells you how you are designed to be in this life. So this heavy energy is also radiating out. All the good stuff is radiating out and also the heavy stuff is radiating out. So sooner or later, this heavy energy will pull back into your world that same person or type of person that will activate this response in you, or the same type of situation will get drawn into your world over and over again until it's cleaned out. And that's literally what I do with people. I help clean that out. So how does a session look?
You heal the wounds.
I heal the wounds. We put the ointment on it and it's gone. Literally, that's what happens in a session. That wounding is gone at the end of it. It takes about 2 hours approximately. I have no idea why that's a magic number. Little kids are really fast because they don't have years of buildup. Yeah. So what happens in a session is there's nothing crazy about it. You're feeling the emotional response and you're breathing until it's gone. And that's why I can tell someone, you can actually do this. This is what Eckhart Tolle is saying. Sit in it. But the problem is, if you can't sit for 2 hours in your own pain, it's really tough. If you've got anger that's gripping you, that rage that Marshall was just talking about in the clip, if this is gripping you and you're white knuckling through it and you're starting to, okay, I'm not going to respond, 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 but it's rolling up inside of you. It's just been activated. So what I do is I help you. It keeps dropping in intensity during a session. The breath helps move it out of you. It's amazing what breath will do. So if you want to try this at home, I promise you it will work.
Beautiful.
You feel what you're feeling and you keep breathing through it until the intensity drops. And you will find. It may take a little while, but if you will continue to do that, it will release. That's how it actually works with Eckhart Tolle saying if you sit in it long enough, it'll release. If you add the breath, it's almost like thinking of that exhale as blowing all of that emotion and energy in motion. That's what emotions are, energy and motion. The breath will actually get it to move out of you. And if it's not a shallow breath. Like a lot of people when they're upset about something is, or a fast breath, or people's breath will even stop. It's taking deep, long breaths from the belly. So you're starting to slow that emotion down. And your exhale, if you've got a little bit of force to it, it will start to literally release the intensity. And it will continue to do it until it's totally gone. Now the harder part, like I said, you can do this at home. It works brilliantly. I tell people after a session, definitely breathe through something if it comes up, because it will. It'll release it. It's almost like your body goes into a training of like, okay, if I breathe through this, we can get it gone, which is really the great part. But the problem that most people have is that once something starts to clear, then something else will come in, and then something else will come in, and something else will come in, and which is probably why it's 2 hours, but I still don't know why 2 hours is a magic number. But as that intensity behind it starts to release, then what starts to happen is your body starts to calm down. Talk about that stress. When you're feeling like this,
Perfect.
and you start to get that stress to release, your body starts to relax, and the heart rate will start to slow down, the blood pressure will start to go down, and it just feels like the load is taken off of you. So what seems to happen is because during a session, so many different emotions can come up, it's hard to do it by yourself. And that's why people come to someone like me. Now, the other thing that I do is I'm tapping. Because what happens is that heavy energy, especially if it's years worth of buildup, some people get choked up. or they get a stomach ache, or afterwards they'll go, gosh, that argument created a headache. It just means that